Guys, what's up? I'm coming to you again on one of my walks because, of course, all these messages come through when my body is moving. So something that I felt like I had to share was around closure. I know I've been through this so many times where, especially in relationships, where I didn't get the closure that I needed, and it fucking tore me apart. And it was so hard. Sometimes it still comes up for me. And I wanted to share some things around how you can move through not having closure and bring your own sense of closure. So I used to do like a lot of rituals in regards to how can I explain this? Okay, so I had this ex, and literally it was so weird. He kind of ghosted me, but I would see him around and he would be really kind. It was just a hot, messy situation. It left me very confused. And every time I saw him, there was this hope that would build up. And then when I wasn't around him, it would be I don't know what I did. Or, I would have those kind of the thoughts that are linked to lack of self-worth that would come up, right? And because he was not in a place to share why he didn't continue the relationship, or why he was kind of breadcrumbing me or ghosting me or whatever it was, I had to really go within and ask myself, what changes if I know what the reason is, because sometimes we're wanting that closure for validation, and that's okay. But oh my god, can you hear these dogs? Hang on one second. Sorry guys, I could not concentrate with those dogs barking. Mexico dogs, they are a different breed. And now, oh my god, y'all are just gonna have to get used to this loudness in the background. Sorry. Okay, so sometimes we want that closure for our own validation, right? And it makes sense. It makes so much sense why we want that. But if someone is not willing to be honest with us and be upfront with us, we have to ask ourselves why their reasoning for not, one, wanting to communicate with us, okay, and be mature adults, considerate adults, and two, why their decision is going to impact the way that we feel about the situation. Okay, and I know that's kind of some tough love for you right now, because you're probably Sam, of course what they think of me, of course what they think of me is, sorry, so distracted. Of course what they think of me is going to impact how I feel about the situation. And that's the human side of you, and I want to honor that. But as humans, we're here to evolve, right? And we're here to evolve our souls. And so if you were to connect with your soul and you told your soul the situation, what would your soul's advice be? Your soul's advice would be for you to remember who the fuck you are. Remember why you came here. You didn't come here for this person. Okay, and I know that they might be your whole world right now, but they might not be in a place to express how they feel. And that saying, if they wanted to, they would. I half agree with it and half don't agree with it too. I sometimes think people just don't know how, and they shut down, their nervous system shuts down, and it's really overwhelming for them. However, it's also their responsibility to learn how to move through that, just like you move through your own shit. It's not an excuse, right? And so we gotta ask ourselves why their validation or their reasoning means so much to us that it's going to shift our perspective of how they're treating us, right? Okay, because you just really gotta go inwards for this one, because I know it's so hard. Trust me, like, I've been there where, like, I was, like, literally begging this person to, like, tell me why they're not talking to me, or why they didn't choose me, you know? And, like, at the end of the day, the main reason was that I was not choosing myself. Buenas noches. The main reason is, like, I wasn't choosing myself, because if I chose myself, I wouldn't even be questioning this behavior. Like, meaning, like, if someone was showing up for me like that, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, why are they showing up for me like that? I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Their actions are showing me how they feel about me, and I'm going to move accordingly, right? I'm going to move accordingly based on how they're showing up for me, regardless of their trauma, regardless of, you know, what's come up for them. I know we all have the decency to just be honest and integrity with one another and with ourselves, right? And so this person who has ghosted you, this person who has left you to wonder and left you to, like, kind of question your worth, okay? The person who is in alignment with you and who you're meant to be with is not going to have you questioning your worth. They're really not. And yeah, like, couples go through shit and they work through it and they can come out of it. However, the couples that come out of it, like, in a healthy way and revive their relationship from all of this are the ones who are self-committed and self-devoted to themselves, but also to one another. Like, we need both, right? And so when you don't have that closure, you got to ask, is this person even honest with themselves? Are they even self-devoted to themselves? And usually the answer is no. Usually the answer is that they are betraying themselves, and that's why it feels so hard for them, or maybe they just, like, really don't give a shit. 1 second. Oh God, I'm almost getting run over here, guys. Okay, hang on. Wow, the roads are so distracting today, guys. Sorry about these interruptions. Okay, yeah, so I don't even remember where I left off, but okay, yeah, they're not being true to themselves, because if they were, like, someone who is integrity with themselves and leads from their heart, like, truly from their heart, they will have the hard conversations even if it's uncomfortable, right? And so you might not have the closure now, you might not have it ever. And I'm sorry, because, like, I know how painful it is. I know that it can have you fucking questioning your worth. It can have you, like, thinking, like, really unkind things about yourself. And you just gotta remember who you are, and that their actions are not a reflection of who you are. Maybe their actions are showing you something about, like, what you need to not improve in yourself, but something that you need to stand more firm on, right? And so I'm kind of talking about boundaries here. So, like, if you, like, you got to just ask yourself, like, why you want to also be with someone like that too. And a lot of the times these, like, it relates back to, like, childhood wounds around not being seen. And this might be your normal. It might be your normal where you know, you have been emotionally neglected, or you haven't been loved in the ways that you need to. And this, like, chasing game, in all honesty, sometimes it sends off, like, dopamine hits and can trick your body into thinking, I actually really like this person. And what's happening is that there's just like this perpetual cycle of what you're familiar with, right? Whether it be from your childhood, from like past relationships, past patterns repeating with different people, you know? And so anyway, I really want you to break these patterns, because you truly deserve, like in any relationship, whether it works out or not, you honestly deserve to be treated with respect and to have open communication where, like, even if the truth hurts, that you're told the truth, you know? You're honored for your feelings, and you're honored as a human being. Like, you are a human being. Like, just let that sink in. Like, you're a human being. Would you treat another human being this way? You wouldn't. If you're listening to this, I know you wouldn't. Or you don't want to treat people that way. Maybe you have in the past, and it's just not a part of your personality anymore. You're working on changing that. Maybe that's why you're listening to this too, right? So, yeah. I'm also going to recommend some tangible activities that you can do for yourself that are going to help you. It's not going to take all the pain away. I'd be lying to you if I said it would. But it's going to help you. It's going to help you to release any pent-up emotions, because you're going to get whatever you're feeling out of your body. So the one thing is, you're going to write this person a letter. And you're going to ask all the questions that you want to know. And you're going to write down exactly how you feel. And you're going to be honest with them as if you were having a conversation with them. You get to express your anger. You get to express your sadness, your disappointment, and whatever else that comes up for you. And you're going to write that down. You're going to write that down in a letter. And you're not going to give it to them, because we're also, like, we're not begging for people's attention. We don't do that. We're not convincing people. No. We're not doing that. Okay? And if you have done that in the past, it's okay. I've been there before too. And you don't realize that you're doing it because you're so deep in your emotions, right? But, oh my God. Fucking cars, sorry guys. Yeah, like, you don't realize that you're doing it, but when you're out of it, you do. Or maybe this is the moment where you're realizing it and you're like, fuck, I've been doing that, you know, and that's okay. Just meet yourself with compassion, please. Don't wrong yourself for it. But now is the pivotal point to make the necessary change that you need to in order to move forward, okay? Because, and like, moving forward doesn't mean you have to like get over it right now. Moving forward means like you get to make a choice in every moment that what you're available for and what you're not available for anymore, right? And stand really firm in that, so that when you are ready for your next relationship, that these patterns don't repeat. And if you find them repeating, just refinement and adjustment to your boundaries and to what you're available for. And again, I say, the reason why I say that is because I cannot. You guys are hearing all the noises of Puerto Vallarta. You guys are in the Puerto Vallarta streets with me. Yeah. So, anyway, okay, so that was one thing, write a letter. The next thing I want you to do is this is something that one of my mentors shared with me, and something I used to do before, but she actually reminded me of this year. I think Shirley, shout out to Shirley, is you're going to have a conversation with this person on a soul level. So you're going to close your eyes, get yourself comfortable, and and really just ask to have a conversation with their soul, call their soul forward. And you might receive answers that they can't even give you in their physical body because they don't even know how to express it, but you might receive those answers from their soul. So you can ask them like, hey, I'm feeling like this. Is this true? Is what I'm feeling correct? You know, because them shutting down might be them pulling away. They might still want to be with you and still talk to you, but they just don't know how to do it because things get deep for them, right? Now, just because you receive this answer doesn't mean you wait around for them or anything like that. Again, this is just for closure purposes of like, okay, well, I know this. I'm going to move forward until your 3D body, your physical body, you here on earth are ready, but you're not waiting for them either, okay? So you can have a conversation with their soul, ask their soul questions, and you can ask questions like, you know, what they're feeling, what you guys were meant to experience through this experience, okay? I would refrain from asking like if you guys are getting back together or, you know, just because I don't want you to be in like, if you get the answer yes, I don't want you to be there waiting, you know, because I'm telling you like that's not going to bring you guys closer, right? So yeah, like any questions you have for them, just ask them on a soul level, tune into their soul, tune into your soul, ask for, when you're tuning in, just ask to receive answers for the highest and greatest good for the both of you guys. Okay, not just for you, because this is a soul contract between you guys. And you want to make sure that you're not just receiving answers from a place of like what you want to hear. You want to receive like the real deal, which can sometimes be what we don't want to hear, right? So write a letter, connect to them on a soul level. And what I would do is you can either do this with the letter or you can do this separately, but just like have a burning ceremony where like you either burn the letter that you wrote to them and set intentions when you burn it, and like don't burn it in like a vengeful way. Burn it in a way where it's just like, hey, I release you with so much love, and I cut any cords with you, any cords, any fragments, anything that is connecting us. And cutting cords doesn't mean that, it just doesn't mean that you're cutting them off completely. It just means that you are making space for more things, more people, more experiences in your life that are favorable to you. And you're releasing them too from that connection. But again, it doesn't mean that they're getting cut off for good. These cords can grow back in the way that they're supposed to, like in a healthy way where it can actually be nourishing to the relationship, right? So you can do that. You can burn the letter and just watch it burn and set your intentions of like what you want to release, like what you're carrying that's like super heavy within you that you don't want to carry, that's come from this experience. And anything of theirs, like release that too, because you're not meant to carry somebody else's shit. And oftentimes when we enter relationships and soul contracts, subconsciously we tend to take on other people's things. Okay, whether that's relationships, friendships, whatever it is. Then, like when you close off that ceremony, when you close it off, you can just decide what you want to call in place of that. Because anytime we release something, we want to replace it with something that is going to fill us up, because we don't want to leave any gaps, any voids, right? So, do that. And you can just envision it coming into you after you're done the burning. Yeah. I'm not going to overload you with like information on this, but I would just definitely do a lot of journaling around this and just connect to your heart and like even ask your own heart what you need for closure, or what you need to kind of release the needing of closure, you know? But I get it. We're human beings. That's kind of the way our biological brain works, right? So like, don't wrong yourself for wanting the closure. There's nothing wrong with you for that. You just, we just got to kind of navigate through this if you're not being given the opportunity to know what's fully happening, right? And like, just a reminder, I know I already said this, but like, you deserve relationships where people are like open with you and they tell you how they feel, even if it's hard, even if it scares the shit out of them. Because again, it's not your job. Like, just because someone has trauma, it doesn't give them a pass to like behave like this. We can understand why people show up the way that they do, and understanding is completely different from tolerating, right? So again, this comes down to what we're available for and what we're not available for. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me know how this landed for you, because yeah, I just know it can be really hard to like go through situations like this, and it can be like tormenting, but this doesn't have to take over you. You have all the inner wisdom, all the inner knowledge, and like inner strength to navigate through this. You're smart, you're intelligent on so many levels, and your heart is so beautiful. I know that, and like, I just know that for sure, because you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be a part of my community if it wasn't for your beautiful heart. Okay, so let me know how this lands. Let me know which ritual you chose to do and how you felt after, how you felt during it. I want to know all the details, and send me a DM about it, send me an email. And I want to invite you to come into my private one-on-one coaching, where we can really dive deep together as you move through this really hard time. If you're going through a breakup, my containers are like, I love working with people who are going through a separation or breakup. It sucks that you're going through that. Like, obviously I don't want that for you, but I'm just so good at helping people kind of find these underlying lessons that lie in these situations, and going deep on like what these reflections are coming up around you needing to, like, the areas that may need growth. Okay. The areas where, you know, your heart may be closed off, and we can open up those areas and expand it and make it a beautiful, more beautiful, sacred space to welcome in sacred people who are in alignment with what you're looking for. And the relationship with yourself too, right? Like, this always comes back to the relationship with ourselves. So I want to help you get to these root causes and break these unhealthy patterns that you might be finding yourself in, so that you can live a beautiful life with your beautiful partner, like, who's out there, you know. My mentor, who's like, she's my past mentor, she's like my friend now. And, you know, we were kind of talking about my person who I haven't met yet, but I just used to tell her, and I was telling her this other day too, of just like, I just feel them. Like, even though I haven't met them in this like 3D world, I feel them. I feel their heart, I feel their soul, and I love tapping into their soul and talking to them and letting them know, hey, I love you, I miss you. Like, I know we haven't, quote unquote, met yet, even though we've met in past lifetimes, our souls have already met. And I can't wait for us to recognize each other on this earth, you know? And my mentor told me, she's like, literally, like, he's walking around right now. He's alive and walking around. Like, it's not like he's not born. It's not like he's not here. He's literally walking around. So I want to share that with you and just let you know that Like, this person, whether it's your person or not, your person is out there walking around. They are out there living. And if you want to find them, you just have to tap into their soul and talk to them. And that is like comforting in itself too. So anyway, come jump into my private containers. Let's dive deep together. I want to be with you on this journey. I want to know how your heart is. And I want to hold your heart with you because we all deserve sacred support. Okay. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful night. And take really good care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me that we got to spend time together today. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at safehavensanctuary_. And if this episode resonated with you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would share it with someone who you think it might resonate with as well. Or better yet, you could take a screenshot of this episode and share it to your story, tag me in it, just so we can bring more awareness to the podcast, and this will help the podcast to grow as well too. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you listening, and I love you. Thank you for being here with me. Your presence, your time, your heart, your soul is so deeply valued here. I'll see you on the next episode.